So we're going to start with a an exercise today, and it has to do with our hands. So you're going to need to make sure you have both hands free during the time. Um, it's a Japanese technique called Jinshin Jitsu. Julie's like, what? What? It's spelled, just in case you want to know, it's three words: Jin, Jin. I had a feeling Julie would want to write this down. Anybody else is fine too, but I figured Julie definitely. Second word is Shin, Shin. The last word is Jitsu, which sounds like the martial art, but it is spelled differently. It's Jyutsu. Okay, and I'm just going to show you a diagram that I printed out really quickly. And each finger and the center of your palm correlates to something. So we're going to go through that right now. You don't have to have that memorized or written down or any of that sort. But to begin, go ahead and feel free to mute yourself and turn off your cameras because we're going to drop into ourselves first. And we're going to do that a little differently than we usually do because we're going to start. And the thing about Jinshin Jitsu is you can, it is best done with your eyes closed and allowing yourself to calm. But if you're sitting there calmly talking with somebody and having to do it as well, not a problem whatsoever, because this is also one of those techniques that you can really use in the moment if you need to. So for right now, I'm going to have you use your active hand is your right hand, and then your left hand being your passive hand. So when I say that, I'm going to say, go ahead and place your fingertips in your palm. So it's going to be your right fingertips into your left palm. And when it comes to grabbing the fingers, I'm going to have you grab with the right hand and hold the left finger, whatever it is that we're working with. So I'm going to have you place your right fingertips like this into your left palm right now. And just gently give pressure there, like a heaviness. And you can relax it down in front of you, maybe in your lap. Maybe if you're sitting at a desk, your hands up a little higher because that feels better for your body positioning. But just rest your right fingertips into the middle of your palm. And once you've got that positioning, go ahead and close your eyes and settle yourself into your body. And just notice as you're breathing, there's no particular breath, but you might notice that your breathing starts to slow down. You might notice that your body starts to feel a little bit more relaxed. This palm area is actually correlated to despondency fatigue. And so when we are feeling like life is really heavy, that it's really difficult to move through, maybe there's things happening around us that feel tougher than not, this is a great place to start, is just putting that nice pressure into your palm. And this is really something that you can do anytime that you need to just feel a little bit more centered, a little bit more grounded. And as you're sitting there with your eyes closed and your palm or your right fingers in your left palm, I'd like for you to remember a time that you were worried. And it's up to you to how extreme that worry is. It could be something like, oh, am I going to have enough time today to make it to the grocery store kind of worry? Or it could be a lot bigger than that. Doesn't matter, but just kind of remember a time, something that's past, not current, where you were worried and it came out okay. And as you remember that, remember the feeling of it being okay. How did that help you once you were okay? What was that situation like for you? How did it help you grow, even if it was just in the moment? And once you've moved through that, if you would like to, you can open your eyes and take a little note for yourself on that worry and that limitation of worry, how it actually moved you through that. And now I'm going to have you think of a more present worry. And again, it doesn't need to be a big one, but we're going to apply the Jin Shinjitsu to it today. So find find a worry that you're worried with. And again, let's make it a little smaller because we're just doing a small experience of it. And if you've had your eyes open at this point, go ahead and close them. And you're going to take your left thumb into your right hand, and you're just going to have it gently squeezed in your right hand. And again, you can set that down in front of you or in your lap with your eyes closed and just feeling that experience of worry. But as you hold your thumb, this is connected to the stomach and the spleen, and the emotion from an acupuncture perspective, which again is correlated with the Japanese Jin Shinjitsu, worry is that emotion that comes with earth, with stomach, with spleen, and that's in the thumb. And we're giving it safety, we're holding it, we're giving that protection to it. And you might find that it's harder to worry. You might find that it's harder to touch into that feeling of worry the longer you hold it. That being said, you might notice that when you started to worry, your heartbeat sped up. And as you hold your thumb, it slows down. Or maybe you couldn't feel any kind of heartbeat, but as you hold it longer and longer, you might notice that the heartbeat starts actually being more present and more available. Either of those two are really good signs that something's happening. So just stay with that for another moment, noticing what's happening inside of you in regards to that thought of worry. And for me, I just ended up taking a really nice deep breath. And that also is an indication that things are shifting. Okay, so feel free to let go of your thumb. You can kind of move your fingers around, open your eyes for a moment. I want to do one more, possibly two. We're going to do anger next. And then I'd like to hear from you ladies if you would like to do fear, sadness, or efforting. And efforting is that trying to do something or trying not to do something. So just kind of think on that for a moment. We'll do anger and then I'll check in with you ladies. So I invite you to close your eyes again and think of something that frustrated you. We don't need to go into full-blown anger right now, but just something that's aggravating or frustrating or irritating to you. And once you have that, this time, grab your middle finger. It's pretty easy to remember that anger is the middle finger. And I'll leave it there for you. And yes, I know some of you are giggling right now. This middle finger is associated with the liver and gallbladder, and anger is the emotion for the wood element in 5-element acupuncture. And as we think of that frustration or irritation and holding that middle finger, keeping our eyes closed, again, just notice what happens in your body. If you weren't aware of your heartbeat in your finger, you might become aware of it. Or if, again, when you thought of that anger, it brought your heartbeat up, that it begins to calm down, whichever direction that is for you. Again, we're just going to sit here and hold that and notice what happens in our bodies. For me, I'm noticing that it's almost as if the anger becomes misty, like I can't hold on to it. And I had this kind of upward feeling of energy, and I feel it settling down into the lower half of my body, but it's not anger anymore. It feels calmer and more grounded. So those are the types of noticing that I'm having, which could be completely different than yours. Your experience is your experience. I just want to give you examples. So just holding that for about 10 more seconds. And go ahead and let that go of your middle finger. So whether you want to pop on really quick and tell me, or if you just want to put it in the chat, the last one we can do is either fear, sadness, or efforting. What would you ladies like to feel next? Okay, we've got a vote for fear. All right, 2 for fear. So we'll go with fear. All right, wonderful. So again, if you haven't already, feel free to kind of squeeze your hands together, massage them, shake them out gently, whatever you need to do. And if your eyes are open, I invite you to close them again. And this time, recall something that caused fear in your body. Again, we're going to keep it kind of small. We're not going to jump into huge fears right now. You can do that on your own later. But think of something that's caused fear in you. And once you have that, I invite you to grab your index finger. So your left index finger is now inside your gently squeezing right fist. The emotion of fear is associated with the kidney and the bladder, which is the water element in 5-element acupuncture. And with this one, just notice again, what happened in your body when you thought of that? Did your heart start to race? Did you feel frozen? And as you hold this finger, how is that shifting? For me, fear kind of caused this freezing up in my chest, but I really noticed it in the lungs and the back of my heart center. And as I hold my finger, I'm noticing almost as if it's slowly melting, allowing me to breathe more easily. And whether it's the muscles or the energy or the tendons in my mid back are starting to relax. And while I can consciously think of the fear, it doesn't feel as fearful as it was. So we'll just sit with this for another 10 seconds. Wonderful. So feel free to let go of that. If you need to stop and take a few notes on any of this, of your experience, because I'd love for you to share what came up, what you might have noticed about those different emotional situations, how they might be limiting you, and maybe from this specific experience, how you might be able to move through them and grow. So whenever you're ready, feel free to join back in, and we'll get to talk a little bit about those experiences and the energetic of limitation and how it can actually serve us.